Hey everybody out in BookTube land. First of all, let me apologize for the really crappy lighting. I kind of decided to do this video at the last minute, and this is where I usually try and do all of my booktubing stuff. I forget that at night, or when it's storming, as it is today, this room can be a little dark and sinister looking, so I apologize. You're just gonna have to bear with me because, to be quite honest, I work today and I'm just too tired to drag everything downstairs to where the lighting's better. So anyway, so I'm here today with a book haul, which I have not done one of these in quite a while. As everybody who watches my channel is aware, because I seem to mention it in every video that I do, I had a book slump, a reading slump, for most of 2014, and I kind of gave up buying physical books. What little reading I did up primarily on my Kindle. So, but it's 2015, and I am dedicated to trying to get back into reading, and so far things have been going really well this month, and I'm taking that as a good enough sign to get back into collecting books. So, actually, I'm going to have another book haul video for you in the not too distant future, because I just placed a pretty big order with the Book Outlet. Have you guys heard of that website? I just discovered it like a few weeks ago, and I have been trying to talk myself out of going crazy and buying like 200 books. But I caved, I gave in, and I think I ordered something like 15 or 16 books because they're ridiculously cheap, people. And yeah, so I'll be doing another book haul relatively soon. Okay, so today I have 14 books to talk about, so I'm just going to get started. And some of these books I've already read, and a couple of them I actually got quite a while ago, but I figured if I was going to do a haul, I might as well show you everything. So anyway, I'm going to start with these first two books. These are enormous and very heavy. I got these on eBay. It was kind of a random find. And it just occurred to me that I don't know how many of you are actually going to have heard of this comic strip, because, you know, all you youngins out there probably won't know what the hell this is, but this was a huge part of my childhood. It made a very lasting impression on me. And I got the first two collections in what I think is either a 5 or 6 volume set. And it is Bloom County. This is volume 1. Did I mention these are really heavy? Yeah, and volume 2. And I mean, it's beautiful. It's in really amazing condition, and these are very expensive. I think the retail is like 40 bucks a piece, and I think I got both of these for $20 on eBay. So yeah, but I love this comic strip. I have so many great childhood memories associated with this. In fact, Opus the Penguin is probably responsible for my love of penguins, because not only did I have one stuffed Opus doll, I had several Opus dolls. Yeah, I just love the humor. I mean, it was so subversive and sarcastic, and it was very ahead of its time, in my opinion. So I'm really glad I was able to find these, and I hope at some point in my life I will be able to get the rest of them. But so there's that. Okay. The next two books I have already read. They were, in fact, the first two books that I read in 2015, and I already did book talk videos for both books, so I'm not going to try and say too much about them, because I've already gushed about them enough. But they are Red Rising, Golden Sun, both by Pierce Brown. Yeah. My love for these two books and this series and this world is just ridiculous. I have not been this excited about a series or an author probably since I first discovered Derek Landy and the Skullduggery Pleasant series. Probably, actually, forgive me, but I mean, these books mean more to me than that entire series put together, and I love those books, but these have just taken over my life. I think they came into my life at exactly the right time, because I was just floundering and For those of you who don't know, this is a sci-fi dystopian adult series that's pretty much marketed to the YA crowd, but I think it's more adult than YA. And it's set on Mars, and it's a dystopian universe, and it's about, it's kind of, as I said in my book talk videos, it's sort of like The Hunger Games meets Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings meets Game of Thrones. It's just phenomenally brilliant in every way. And the last thing I'm going to say is that 2014 was a really crappy year for me for many reasons, and I sort of lost my love of reading for a long time, and I missed it, and I don't think I really knew how much I missed it until I started to get it back, and these were the books that gave it back to me. These books made me excited to read again. So yeah, if you haven't already checked these out, please do, because they're just fantastic. And God only knows how long I'm going to have to wait for the third and final book in the series. Actually, in an interview that I saw with Pierce Brown, he said, well, I know he's working on the third book, which is called Morning Star. He said hopefully by the beginning of 2016. So until then, get these books, read them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so much for not talking too much about them. Anyway, sort of at the very opposite end of the spectrum, these next two books were a spur of the moment purchase for me when I was in the depths of my unhappy place and just desperate for something to read. I saw these in a grocery store and I picked them both up. And they are Sharp Objects and Dark Places, both by Gillian Flynn. Now, I read Gone Girl. I don't think I ever did like a booktube video about it, but I was not a fan of Gone Girl. Well, actually, that's not true. I liked probably about 65 to 70% of Gone Girl. I had issues, really huge issues with the ending of the book. And in fact, I think Gone Girl probably frustrated me more than almost any other book I've ever read. But I did see the movie, and I actually quite enjoyed the movie. I still hated the end, and I really did not need to see Neil Patrick Harris naked. But other than that, I actually quite enjoyed the movie. But I digress. Anyway, first I read Sharp Objects, and this is about a woman who's a journalist, and she goes back to her hometown because there has been a rash of murders of small children. And she goes back home, and she's got secrets in her past, and going back and investigating these murders kind of brings everything back for her. And then you have Dark Places, which is about a woman who, her entire family pretty much was wiped out, was murdered in one night when she was a little girl. And she's the reason that her brother is in prison for killing her family because she testified against him. And I liked this book better than this. Sharp Objects, once again, I had a real issue with the ending. I thought it was very predictable and just didn't like it that much. And whereas Dark Places, I enjoyed quite a bit of it. It was a good story, and yeah, it was kind of implausible. Some of the things were sort of over the top, but out of the three books that I've read by Gillian Flynn, this was definitely the best one. So I got these two. And as if you can tell, this is going to be a really long book because I can't stop myself from rambling. So that's what you get when you watch my channel. You're just going to have to deal with it, people. Okay. So the next book I got has been getting a lot of buzz. Actually, a lot of books in this haul are sort of filled with buzz. I know the Red Rising series is because, you know, they're making a movie out of the first book. And I think four other books in my haul or three other books in my haul have all gotten a lot of buzz. But this has been recommended to me by a bunch of people, and it's also getting ready to be made into a movie, and it is The Martian by Andy Weir. I read online somewhere that Matt Damon is going to be the lead character in the movie. I don't think they've started filming, but that's all I know. And I am a big fan of sci-fi and fantasy. I don't really read that much of it anymore. But yeah, as if you couldn't tell from the cover and the title, it's set on Mars. It's about a failed space expedition to Mars. There's some kind of accident, and the crew, believing that one of their crewmates has been killed, leaves the planet, but their crewmate has not been killed. He's still alive, and so he's stranded on Mars. And the book is about him trying to figure out ways to survive until somebody can rescue him. I made the really bad decision to try and start this right after finishing Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. That book gave me probably the biggest book hangover I've ever had in my life. And I kind of sort of tried to dive into this one the day after to try and pull myself out of it. And it was probably a bad idea because I just couldn't get into it. But not to say I'm not going to go back to it because, I'm sure I actually will like it if I go into it with a clear head. But I just picked the wrong time to try and read it. But I am interested. I am excited to read it. So, yeah. Okay. Now, this book, yeah, I'm just looking at it because it's so pretty. It has decollages, and I love decollages. I try to mostly get paperbacks because I books that I'm going to read, not just my favorite books. When I buy my favorite books, I try to get them in hardback. But if it's a book that I haven't read yet, I try to get them in paperback because it's just easier for me to hold them. But this is hardcover. Paperback's not even out. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Whatever. Again, with the babble. But the next book I got, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. And this is a dystopian, apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic book that's not really about the apocalypse. It's sort of more character-driven and tells the story of this group of, I believe, actors, like a Shakespeare troupe. I know it has something to do with the Shakespeare play and how everybody sort of reacts to surviving the end of the world. So, yes, and there's the decollages that I was distracted by. So I'm hoping to get to this by the end of the month. I'm not promising anything, but I'm hoping. Okay, so the next book I got simply because a fellow booktuber was raving about it. Her name is Madeline. I don't know her last name. I feel really bad, but I just recently discovered her channel, and she's great. She does these really long, in-depth book reviews videos, which I really like. And I think she picked this as her second favorite book of last year, right behind Red Rising. So she is a smart cookie. There you go. Yeah, so she raved about it, and it sounded really interesting, so I decided to get it. And it is Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly. This was actually published in 2010, I believe. But it is sort of like part historical fiction, part present day, because it deals with this girl named Andy who is a musician, and she goes to Paris with her father for summer vacation, and she finds this diary by this girl who's named Alex. Yes, Alex, who was living during the French Revolution, and she becomes obsessed with her diary. And it sounds really interesting, so yeah. I don't really like this cover. I prefer the cover that Madeline had, which is just like a white background with a key on the front. But this was what Amazon had, so I will have to deal with this one, I guess. But so there's this. Okay, and these three books, these were my latest purchases. I just got them a couple days ago. And I actually tried to read the first book a long time ago, like when they first came out, and I just could not wrap my mind around the names of the places and everything. But since I have embraced my love of Jo Nesbø and the Scandinavian crime novel, I decided that I should go back and try to read these books. So, I got Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, Girl Who Played with Fire. These things are freaking massive. And The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. These books, I had no idea. I don't remember them being this big. I mean, look at these books. These two, like the second and third books, are like almost 800 pages. The first one is almost 700 pages. Holy crap! Yeah, it's gonna take me forever to read these books. But as you can see with the bookmark, I've started the first one, and I'm about 100 pages in, and so far it's okay. It's definitely a slow build, but I definitely made it past where I gave up the last time, so I'm proud of myself. And hopefully I will be able to finish this before my next birthday in October. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm down to the last two books, 15 minutes into the video. And this book is not really something that it's not really a type of book that I normally read, but I've heard so much good stuff about it, and I downloaded the preview on my Kindle, and I really liked it. And I wanted it in hardcover because the cover is just gorgeous. It's so pretty. And it is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I think that's how you say his name. This is historical fiction. It's set during the World War II, and it's about a girl. All I know about it is that it's about a blind girl in Paris and an orphan boy in Germany who somehow make a connection. And yeah, it sounds really great, and I like the writing style. It's very sort of cinematic and sort of grand. So I'm hoping that this is going to be my next book, depending on how it goes with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. If I give up on that, this is definitely going to be the read this month. If I'm able to get more into The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, then hopefully I'm going to finish that and then move on to this. So we will see. Hopefully this will be in a book talk video soon. Okay, and then the last book I got, I sort of have conflicting emotions. This is another book that I already read. I actually read it on my Kindle. And it's another book that, once again, has been getting tons and tons of buzz. It already had a movie deal and a leading actress signed on before the book was even published. People have been comparing it to The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, which I don't really see the comparison there after having read the book, but can kind of understand why they would use that for the blurb. But it is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I have conflicting emotions about this book. This book is beautifully, beautifully, beautifully written. I highlighted so many different passages on my Kindle while reading this. It was just gorgeous. So many beautiful quotes, so many great emotions. I had a real problem with the way she chose to end the book. I'm not going to get into it. I plan on doing a book talk video about this book that unfortunately is probably going to have to be very spoilery, because you can't really, in order to talk about this book, you have to talk about certain things that would be spoilery. So, but anyway, it is about two teenagers, a girl named Violet and a boy named Finch, and they meet as each of them are standing on the ledge of their school bell tower contemplating jumping off. And it is a very emotional book. It's a very sad book and heartbreaking, and parts of it are very uplifting, parts of it are extremely depressing and just gut-wrenching. And yeah, all with the exception of about the last 25% of this book, I really thought this would probably be near the top of my list of my favorite books of 2015, but I just have to deal with sort of my issues with how she chose to end it. I wish she had made different choices. Let's put it that way. But this is still very much worth reading. So you guys, definitely check it out before the movie comes out, because I think it's definitely going to be talked about quite a bit. And one of the reasons why I went ahead and got the hardcover is because I love it. It's beautiful, and I love how you have like whole passages from the book on the back on the little sticky notes, which are very important to the story. But also, take the dust jacket off, and the actual book itself is beautiful. It's got all the stars, and then you have a finch and a lily, and it's just gorgeous. I love when they do like little touches like that with books. It doesn't happen very often, but it's one of the main reasons why I love collecting books. But so that's it. That's everything I've got this time. Like I said, probably within the next few weeks I'll be doing another video, because I think I ordered 13 books from Book Outlet and 3 more from Amazon. Yeah. I think my roommate is going to regret offering to build me bookshelves. Yeah, because I'm going to have all of these books in a very short period of time. But anyway, that's it. If you want to know anything else about the books that I showed you today, just leave me a comment. And even if you don't, just leave me some love, people. Let me know you're watching. Let me know that you want me to still make these silly videos. And I will talk with you guys later. Have a great day, and happy reading, everyone.